Morning, Anchor. How you doing? How's your morning? Well, actually, it's early hours of the morning for you. Hey, Rayon. Nice. Did you get the buy as well? Nice. Yeah, I'm in this as well. Nice. So gold, guys, what you want to watch out for on gold is what my thinking is. I did take some profits with price consolidating here, like only minor profits. Majority of my position is still open, but what you want to be careful with, it's so risky. I didn't go full risk on this purely because if you look at structure here, so you got in at what, 1813, 17. Nice. Yeah, that's roughly where I got in. So with gold, the only thing to be mindful of is, so if we look at our 15-minute structure, which again, we had this last push up here and then we had this retracement. Price then came all the way back here, but we didn't. Now if I mark a line going across, you could see that's perfect equal highs. Now, you know we don't take wick breaks into account, so we never technically got a clean break above this area on the 15-minute to give us confidence that price wants to continue higher. But saying that, you could see what I did. I marked the swing low. We've already mitigated this higher time frame demand, which is here, and price had already created a change of character on the hourly chart here to the left. So we had this structure coming to the downside, which was lower low, lower high, and then we had this low. We had a change of character to the upside. We had dollar news, bullish news that caused this push down, which again took out all of this liquidity, filled out this imbalance and tapped into this area of demand here. So the likelihood of price respecting this demand and our fib confluence here, so I used the low of the move, and this was the pullback, as our potential swing up to have a swing down and to do this. So you could see price held this level overnight, so we tapped into this demand once, we came in and retested this 70 to 79 region, and then we started to push above on the 15-minute chart, and we kind of got a closure above here. So once price retraced and then started to push up, that's when I kind of entered. But what you want to look at is, you still want to mark your fib from the inverse, just in case, because we didn't get a clean break above this area over here, price might well create a higher low, lower high, and then do this. So you got to be mindful of price action when it's like that, when we haven't had a clean break above this previous swing over here. You could have that price reverse from this point. So just be very careful with the trade itself. You know, it's in profits, nearly 40 pips. It was up a maximum of what, 51. So I definitely still think there's at least upside. Like, I'll be definitely securing majority of my position around this area here, and then just manage it, like I said, purely because we never broke structure here. As you can see, bang on, closure's the same, you know. But in the same breath, DXY, you know, we have this huge gap to fill now. DXY is obviously shifted bullish. You know, now what's the stance? What's happened with the dollar? Jerome Powell had two kind of press conferences over the last couple of days, which he made it pretty clear that inflation, even though it is coming down, hasn't come down anywhere near to what they expect, the speed. And because of unemployment being so strong, they can still continue to rate hike. And the original projections that the market had was that the overall rate hike they were looking at was between 5 to 5.5%. Currently they're sitting at 4.5%. But it was pretty clear that they're looking at revising that projection closer to 6%. So that's an extra 50 basis points, which the market didn't expect for them to rate hike. And the anticipation now is that we're probably not going to see a 25 basis point rate hike. We're going to see a 50 basis point rate hike. So that's just spurred more strength for the dollar. Now looking at DXY, you can see we broke out of this area of supply here. Just gonna remove this for now, as that's not really of much interest. So now what does it look like? You know, so if we go to the daily chart, where's our daily swing? Our entire swing is here. So we could see a return back to these highs. You know, you've got supply sitting there, so we could see a return back up into here before we see dollar coming down. So that's some nice strong upside for the dollar in the coming weeks. You know, we do have this zone sitting within here as well. So overall, we could expect, you know, potentially a retracement here for a continuation back up until we get into here before we see some sort of a drop with the bullish news that's kind of coming for the dollar. So yeah, so I would be expecting that to continue higher in the coming weeks at least. Let's look at some of the stuff on the watch list that we had from this week. So AUD, JPY, what price is supply on? For gold, you're probably looking at supply sitting at this region here. This indecision candle, which is up at like between 1819 to 1821. 1819.9. But again, just because price never broke this, it's a funny place that price is sitting in. So AUD JPY, you could see price is heading back down towards this area of demand. Now we've just not had a retracement to kind of get in on this move. You know, the change of character happened here, so if price can kind of come back into this area, I would love to be shorting this back down into here. Hourly chart, you got that perfect area of supply with imbalance sitting here. A nice move back down to fill out this range and fulfill this pullback. So we just need to wait and see if price can kind of head back down towards there. AUD NZD, price is just, it's just like no real volume in all fairness. Price held this area, but you know, we need to see a breakout of this area of supply in order to have confirmation prices continuing higher. Otherwise, if we break out this demand, then we can expect price to be pulling back on the wider move, which is probably heading back down into regions back at 1.0526. So there's not much volume, not much happening there. CAD JPY, some nice selling opportunity. Price respected that area of supply perfectly. We've had a break to the downside. You can see the last swing structure that we had was this low to this high. We then came down, created an internal lower high, and then here is where we had a change of character, broke this previous low. Now breaking this previous low, you can see if we mark our entire swing leg here, this imbalance is perfectly within the region we were expecting price to come to. So now if we look at it on the 1 hour, where's the last retracement we had? So we had this push down, took out this internal low, retracement, and then we sold off here. So now marking this high to this low, you can see we could see some equal highs here, and we can see this area of imbalance before this supply, which aligns perfectly with our fib confluence. So if we could get a retracement back up into this area, could see a continuation back down to like 97,500 region. Again, good trade, you know, because we've seen the shift now. We had this huge push up, we've entered that retracement. We just now need to get a pullback in order for us to get into the market. Euro AUD, there's just like, with weakness for Euro coming into the market, not for Euro, sorry, for AUD, with them clearly stating that they're looking at slowing down or pausing their rate hikes. That's weakness for Australian dollar. So now if we just mark this area of supply back up again, I think price is just back up retesting this. So really we need to see, can price break above this, or is price currently just still within that pullback? So, you know, this is a long way off from entering a trade for me now, so it's not something I'm going to kind of look at, because it's kind of in an indecisive place. We're back up at this area of supply. Which we've probably tapped it now for the first time. If you look at this last up candle before this aggressive sell-off. So we could see some selling pressure here. But you could see in the daily, this is the low, that's the high. So there's nothing really within it. The only thing we could potentially look at is if we get some sort of structure form and a break, we could look at probably trading the pullback off of this daily swing leg to the upside. But until that point, it's kind of not one that I'm really looking at much. Euro CAD, again, there was some weak news came out for CAD, with them keeping their interest rate the same, so they didn't increase their interest rate at all. It's at 4.5%, I believe. So we'll just need to wait and see what ends up happening. But price is approaching this area of supply and this area of pullback. So this is like the extreme of that zone. So if we go to the 1 hour, there's that last bit of imbalance. But again, you could see higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. So if we can come into this, get a change of character, then we can start trading it at least back down into, say, this demand here. But again, it's just going to lead into probably next week before we see any of this playing out. So Euro pound, again, not much happening, in all fairness. It's kind of chopping about, so it's not something I'm really looking at. Euro JPY, similar scenario to the rest of the JPY pairs. It's entered a pullback, but there's other cleaner setups. I obviously caught shorts up over here, which I shared, and we kind of covered on the last stream we did. I had said that on the last stream here, on a 15-minute, when we had a change of character here. You can see we created this supply, and what did I say? We had this fib marked up. I said if price closes within here, and then on the 5-minute, I had said we have demand here. If demand fails, then look to short. And then I entered like just over here. My stops above there, and I targeted like the low. You can see demand failed as price failed to break above, and then we started to break down. So it was a pretty decent trade. But now there's other pairs that are more cleaner than this. Euro USD. Again, Euro USD is in this key area of demand. You know, we had this big push to the upside. We've come to the extreme of this. Now you could see, like I had mentioned last week, we never broke above this swing structure high. Now again, in this downtrending market, we had this low form, pullback, break a structure, pullback, break a structure, pullback, break a structure, pullback, never broke above the high, and then we sold off. So now, say like on an hourly chart, this is the swing high and this is the swing low, so we're still within this downtrend. Now intraday, you know, this isn't as clean as some of the other pairs are, but again, we could see a similar thing where price could be pulling back. You know, I would like to see a nicer break above and a retest to trade the pullback off of this hourly move. Which, look, that area aligns pretty nicely, and we're still in that area of demand. So that's intraday. That's the only place you could take this trade to if you see confirmation. But to try trading this higher, you'd need to see a breakout of the hourly chart to head back up towards like 1.09, which I doubt is happening due to the strength in the dollar. GBP CHF, so this was on the watch list, and again we had this area marked. Now you can see like perfectly, look where price sold off from, right? Up over here. Mark the high to the low. Perfect sell off from there. So as we sold off, we could see all this liquidity, and I said price is going to come into here, fill out this imbalance and mitigate this. And we kind of did that. And then you go to the 15-minute chart. So you can see what was the last structure. So in this downtrend, we had this sell-off, this retracement, this sell-off. So the structure that we formed was this high and this low. Now if we mark this up, you could see perfectly, price came down, tested, retested that area, came down, failed to break the low, pushed back up into 70 to 79, then came back down, and then kind of held this demand. So we're starting to see some buyers come into the market. You know, so somebody got in here, which was probably a bit of an aggressive one because price hasn't still broken out of this, but at the same time, price has failed to break below this low over here, because once price mitigated supply, once price had that pullback, we should have sold here. If we retested that 70 to 79, we should have expected price to sell off again, which it failed to do so. But at the same time, this is the extreme of this current pullback. So what I would like to see is a break out of this for a retest, then we can start to trade this back up. So we are in a good position. And then what can we start to target? If price breaks out of this and comes back, we can then start to look at this swing move. You can see all of this gap. So if we, for example, got a trade opportunity from, say, down here somewhere, stops below this swing, and we could start to target this area, it's still a 1 to 6 hour trade of like 60 plus pips. You know, we're not looking at targeting all of this, it's just an intraday, internal intraday move. So you can see how we can start to break that down and look at trades. So again, yeah, this is the extreme of that pullback off of this current move, because so far this is the lower high, this is the lower low, this is all internal. So if price fails to break below this and creates a new high, we've broken out of that fib confluence, retest, and then we could look to trade this higher. And it's already come into the demand zone that we're looking to trade from. Hopefully makes sense. I know only a few of you here, guys. Just remember to hit the like button. Right, so what else do we have? What's gold? Gold is still just low volume, doing nothing. GBP NZD, where is this at? Yeah, so I was looking at short. Price hasn't come up to this supply yet, so there's nothing in this, to be fair. So GU broke the 4 hour low, I believe, here. Yeah, so you could see we had a breaker structure on the 4 hour here. Boom. So overall, I do still think we're heading down to this area, and some of the one-to-one guys like Anchor and stuff, you know, we would have covered this, and we kind of spoke about the 4 hour swing structure. But right now, you know, what is price doing? Price is pulling back after a breaker structure here on the 1 hour. So again, we go down to the 1 hour. What did we have? We had a breaker structure here. So now again, price is heading off to the upside. It's reacted to this area of supply. But we have created this demand, and pretty much price is efficient below. So again, if we look at this, you could see we have some demand sitting resting between here. So we could potentially see price retracing and then pushing up to start filling out this range. NZD CAD, damn, missed this trade. Again, what did I say? Change of character, retest. I was expecting price to come back. I don't know why I marked this area. Look, we've got a perfect level off demand here. Damn. Look at that indecision candle. Huge rally up. Price perfectly mitigates that. And then starts to push up to the upside. Missed that one. Missed that one. Nearly 80 pips. So now, what can we now see with NZD CAD? So NZD CAD, if we can break out of this and get a pullback, we could continue, because then in this pullback, you could see we had a low, pullback, low. So if we're going to have a change of character, retest, continue higher to fill out all of this inefficiency. So yeah, we've missed the first move, but there's still an opportunity to catch further moves on this. NZD-CHF. So no, you can see it again. Strong news for CHF caused this demand to fail. You know, the inflation was higher than expected. So again, not something I'm really looking at. Pretty choppy. You look at it from a wider perspective, pretty sideways now. So just gonna let this be. So NAS is currently still similar scenario. You know, it's pulling back down into this range. So the real trades are just going to be continuations till we kind of get down here, for then looking for potential buys. But for now, again, it's in no man's land. You know, the real structure, you know, really you'd kind of want to see price back up into these areas. Let's look at this. To be fair, probably back up into these areas to kind of short, because this is like one swing move here, and we have this inefficient, we have liquidity here, we have imbalance here. There's our supply. So I would like to see if price can kind of head back up here for a continuation. Right, perfect ankle. Thanks for that. So yeah, so you know, I don't want to be entering here. It's just messy. You can see we have supply here. You could see, you know, this is kind of one swing move. So a pullback up for a sell-off is something that's enticing. And overall, I'm still expecting price to head towards here. So, you know, there's no reason why we can't do this to head back up, you know, because we had this big push to the upside. So right now, what we're seeing is potentially this. So where it's at right now just doesn't really interest me. USD JPY, let's have a look at USD JPY. Yeah, USD JPY is coming to this area of demand. Let's just see where USD JPY is. The thing is, it's so dangerous to trade it here. You know, you can see all of this. We've got liquidity here. You got imbalance resting below here. So, you know, buyers would really make more sense, even though this is demand. You know, you could see all of this liquidity engineered, this level of imbalance. So personally, you know, if price fails and gives a pullback here, I would like to short into here, then look for some potential buys. So as tempting as it looks, you got to take a wider stance and a wider perspective of it to see that, you know, number one, we have been pretty extended. Number two, lots of liquidity here, and we have imbalance, and we have this area of demand that's unmitigated. So I would personally be looking for something like this if we could get that, or if price just came down here, then look to buy from here. But it's very risky trying to buy a continuation from here, especially when the dollar has had this huge rally, and you can see it's retracing and pulling back after this big push up. Hopefully that makes sense. God, look how slow. But again, you know, what's going to be the entry criteria here? You want some structure to be formed. You know, if you were to take buys, it would need to kind of be a break above the 15-minute to have a change of character to look to trade it. You know, that's what would entail a buy on a lower time frame. But personally, just the way I can see liquidity and, you know, this area of demand unmitigated, I could see price coming down before going up. Come on, gold, push, push, push. So like I said, I will be taking some off here. So for anyone that's in it, I know you're in it, Antcore, I would definitely take some off the table as well. Let's go back to look at GBP CHF. Now imagine you entered down here at this demand, you'd be up 30 pips on this. Come on guys, 52 pips up on gold, let's go. So this is where like trading on your phone and stuff is not great at times. So I took an L, which I shared in the losses channel this morning, on AUD JPY. Now when price came over here and broke above this region, you know, I took this as a change of character. We're really on a 15-minute. I should have realized this is only 19.5 pips. It's not close to that 40 pips. So I should not characterize this as a change of character at all. So, you know, reading structure incorrectly is a massive part of winning and losing trades. So I can accept that. It's fine. You know, I took an L. We all do. But at least as long as I can justify it to myself of why that L was there, you can clearly see, you know, I treated this area as structure where I shouldn't have. It wasn't a deep enough retracement. You know, structure would have been like, if I'm expecting price to head back up here after this push to the downside, you know, this is structure. Like we've created this, we created a low. So if we had broke out like this, that's a true change of character, you know, because that's significant of a pullback. That isn't. So you could see, you know, because I marked it wrong, you could see price bounced into this region, and then I entered, and then eventually, boom, taken out. So yeah, if you've closed half Antcore, great. You know, secured 50 plus pips, which is great. Fantastic work. You know, you got people sitting there all day that can't catch 50 pips. And again, it's sticking to the rules, sticking to how we read structure. Now, yesterday, the gold buy that I shared, I'll go into like a cleaner chart and just bring up gold here. XAU, USD. Let's just go on to Pepperstones for argument's sake. Right, so if we look at gold, trust your analysis, Anchor. You know, end of the day, you know, holding trades is where you're going to become successful. You know, end of the day, if you have an analysis and you have an understanding of the market, that's the whole point. We read the charts in such a deep manner the way we do, because we're reading structure from a much more unorthodox way that people don't see it. So we shouldn't be overly concerned about what happens on a 5-minute chart or a 10-minute chart, or, oh, you know, price is going down. Price moves in waves. When we have that understanding of price, then there's no reason why we shouldn't be confident enough to hold it. So you could see here gold, right? And again, I was out yesterday. If I was at home, I would have re-entered this. Nice one. Always secure profits. You know, I'm getting close to securing some profits here. Just move this and so yeah, looking at gold. So yesterday, what did I see? You could see on a 15-minute chart, we had a breaker structure here to the downside. So when we had a breaker structure, here's our fib. You could see price virtually closed within that zone. But what did I see yesterday? So on a 5-minute chart, you could see price was creating lower lows and lower highs coming down here. And then boom, we had this break above, right? So now when we had this break above, I know we've entered a pullback. And where is that key pullback area? It's within this region here. So you can see we had this area of demand. Let's go to a lower time frame. We had this area of demand. Now, bear this in mind. Bear this in mind, right? The news yesterday for the dollar was what? Bullish, right? So the news came out at 1:15 UK time, which is this candle here. I'm just going to put a... so yeah, this down candle here. So now this area of demand was the last bit of demand that was unmitigated. Everything else pushing above was pretty mitigated. So at this point, we knew we've entered a pullback. We could see all of this imbalance. So where's the likelihood of where price is heading? It's up towards these areas. So you can see as news came out, price bounced around in this region. We had these wicks below that took out liquidity, but price respected this demand and then ended up pushing higher. So even though the news was bullish for the dollar, gold still went higher before it came back down. So, you know, that was a good buy trade yesterday, which again, unfortunately, if I was home and once news had played out here, I would have got involved, because if price was going to break down, then the volume from news would have caused this demand to break and price would have headed to the downside. That never happened. So you could see price perfectly continued pushing higher to the upside. Indeed it does, Uncle. What is that? I've heard of the name of it. I never really looked into that. It's like Google, a little more advanced. Right, okay. Oh well. Interesting. So I've taken some off the table right over here, just to bag some profits. Cool. Waiting to see what happens with this as well. AUD CAD. So we have some nice demand here that's unmitigated. Do some areas of imbalance. We have some demand resting here. So overall, price is creating lower lows and lower highs. So this is a nice area for retracement on the hourly chart. Weather's alright. It's cold this week, to be fair, but it's dry. I think we got like an Arctic blast this week. It's been like a bit cold. Morning, Damien. It's been a bit cold. Like obviously we don't look at Fahrenheit. We look at Celsius. So it's like -3, -4 Celsius. So -3 degrees to Fahrenheit. So it's like -26. No, it's like 26 Fahrenheit. How's your morning, Damien? How's your week? Caught any trades? Some of us have Anko, myself, and I think Rayan were in this gold trade. So I got into this like this morning, pre-London. Took profits here. Now seeing what happens with the rest. You got anything on your watch list? Anything you're looking at? This could be a good intraday move. We are at this area of supply, which we've tapped into twice. But overall, this is the key pullback area and we have nice imbalance. So if we can get retracement into this demand, could see a push up. So from here to there would be like 65 pips. Yeah, so EU similar to gold, but just it's had very choppy price action over here. It's just been very messy. You can see if you mark the entire swing, price reacted to supply, perfectly came back into our fib confluence, bounced into it once, twice, 3 times, and then away it went. So the EU trade really would have been like somewhere here. Stops like below and then you start targeting like next areas of suppliers and stuff. But again, with price pushing higher, if you get some sort of a strong push up, retracement into demand for a continuation to fill out this gap, there's still going to be opportunities on EU. Not to say you've missed it. Yeah, it's fine. You know, as long as you have a wider understanding of structure, it allows us and gives us the confidence and ability to get in on trades. See, gold is starting to push through this. Can we keep going, gold? GBP, what did he take? Nice gold, let's go. We do now have this area of supply, so let's see if we can break through this. Which we should. As supply failed to break demand below here. Missed this nice move here. You can see price pulled back perfectly within our zone. Right guys, pretty short and quick one. Yeah, if you're in the gold trade, great. I've covered the rest of the pairs and discussions off in the stream that we've just kind of done. How long we've been on for? Like an hour, I think. Yeah, so you can go back and watch that and see the trades we've kind of covered off and the potential setups. Have a good rest of your day. And I'll catch up with you guys soon. Take it easy.